Hello, everyone. I'm Andrew Schmertz. The markets rallied Tuesday, brushing off that nagging sign of a contracting manufacturing sector. The Dow, taking a look at the final numbers, gained 168 points to 17,888 and change. The Nasdaq up 47.64 to 51.56, and the S&P 500 back over the 2100 mark, up 22.22. It was a disappointing report from the Institute for Supply Management, which measures U.S. factory output. The manufacturing index fell to 48.6, which is down from October and came in below estimates. Now, this signals a possible recession in the manufacturing segment. We'll discuss this in a moment, and whether the numbers will cause any sort of chaos at the U.S. Federal Reserve as it tries to determine what to do about interest rates. But first, there is a storm brewing in the Caribbean, a financial storm. For some time, Puerto Rico has been on the edge of technical bankruptcy. Today, the island territory temporarily avoided default by making a key bond payment. But Puerto Rico is fundamentally broke, very broke. Now, there is a long history of financial mismanagement on the island, as well as U.S. companies leaving for the mainland. So what's next for the territory, and will Congress come to the rescue? We're joined by Noel Thompson of Thompson Global. Welcome to Arise Exchange. A lot of people, especially Americans, probably do not realize the financial trouble that the territory is in. Walk us through what is the current state of the finances.
Well, current state is they have $72 billion worth of debt. Puerto Rico is a situation that had good intentions, but that gone awry. So if you think of Puerto Rico, think of the 1970s in New York City, in which you borrowed debt to pay expenses, and that continued to go, but you wasn't developing a real economy. So essentially what happened is you have this massive tax advantage to being in Puerto Rico. You pay no state, no federal, no local taxes. So that drives investor capital into Puerto Rico. So all the big banks in '06 went down there and tried to help Puerto Rico raise and sell tremendous amount of municipal bonds. The problem is now is rates are higher. A lot of these bonds are at junk status at 8%.
And they don't control the tax situation.
That's correct.
They don't raise any money through taxes. And Governor Padilla today, he made the $54 million payment, but he says there's no cash left in the bank. I mean, this is our own Greece.
It is.
Right?
It is, except we don't technically own them. So they reap a lot of the advantages, but they're not a state, right? So, Congress is in a precarious situation because politically, Puerto Rico is a gem for any U.S. politician. Mm-hmm. Hence, I believe Hillary Clinton is going down in the next day or so. So everyone wants that Puerto Rican vote, endorsement, et cetera, whether you're Republican or Democrat. But at the same time, you have this debt-ridden economy, which is about the population of Oklahoma, the GDP of Kansas, but has more debt than every U.S. state other than New York and California.
Okay, so they want to file for bankruptcy, Chapter 9 bankruptcy. But you can't. So Detroit filed for bankruptcy. New York, remember, had the hammer of potential bankruptcy.
That's right.
Gerald Ford said drop dead. Didn't quite say that, but that was the headline
That's
of
right.
the Daily News, if you remember. But Puerto Rico has no leverage here, really.
Well,
but we're not going to let the territory unravel.
Not necessarily. They have political leverage. Right, so it's advantageous to the politicians to have Puerto Rico where they are because you do your dog and pony show and you get votes from Puerto Rico, and there's a huge Puerto Rican population.
Well, let's remember the huge Puerto Rican population in New York is going to lean on our two senators, certainly.
That's right.
Here, Hillary and Schumer, to do something.
So there's two options. One, if you let Puerto Rico go into default, right, what happens is a lot of the venture capital funds as the politicians call them, the scavengers, mm-hmm. get bigger, right? Because they're the lender of last resort, right? And that's not what Bernie Sanders and crew want to happen.
Sure.
The other option is you bankroll Puerto Rico like you kind of have been doing with. Mm-hmm. Before it was just with taxes, but maybe you need to infuse some capital.
So Puerto Rico has a couple problems, and this is the pushback in Congress. One, it overspent.
That's right.
But also Congress first incentivized companies to go there, I understand, and then they took that incentive away?
That's right. But they also just approved today the Import-Export Bank, which is like, I think, $500 billion. They just approved the big. Mm-hmm. And interesting timing that their debt was due today, and this was approved. So, Congress is not going to let Puerto Rico just go to the wayside.
So if you're a turnaround expert, you want to say Puerto Rico, let's say, can you do what they're doing to Detroit to Puerto Rico?
Oh, I think you can get it at cheaper values and a better product.
There's more there to offer. It is a tourist-based economy, of course.
Yes. Well, Puerto Rico's going to compete with the place I'm going to on Friday, which is Cuba, right? So that's,
it's interesting. You're the second person to talk about that today, competing with Cuba and the potential manufacturing industry that could come out of that.
That's right.
All right. Noel, thank you so much. We'll have you back on
Thank you.
soon, and we'll follow this story about Puerto Rico. It's an interesting story that Americans should be paying attention to. Just ahead, those sorry stats about manufacturing and how the Fed may feel about them. We'll be right back. Stay with us.